Welcome to the Family Brand Show. We're Chris and Melissa Smith of FamilyBrand.com, husband and wife, parents of 5, and we want to help you take back your family and to live life on your terms.
And we know being a family can feel really overwhelming. Parents tell us they feel like they're being pulled in a million different directions. It's so challenging to navigate the uncertainty and all the chaos that's happening in the world right now.
And that's why we want to bring you every single week actionable tips and strategies that you can implement in your daily life to become a better parent, to become a better spouse, and to build a stronger family. And look, there's never been a better time and a more important time than right now to take back your family. You can define what your family stands for, or the world is going to do it for you. And the world needs strong families now more than ever. And it starts right here with your family.
It's that time of year where the Smith family reports on our words of the year, our vision boards, and just our overall focus and vibe for 2026. And while we will be talking about the Smith family, I hope that this gives you inspiration for your family. The power of doing some of this intentional work up front, I think, takes a lot of the work out of the way the rest of the year. It's like light work now creates just ease later on and things you can go back to and just remember, and you're not trying to reinvent the wheel all year.
Yeah, and it's never too late to do it. If you're listening to this, whatever time of year you're listening to this, it's never too late to come up with a word for the year, a focus, set some goals. And again, you've heard me say this before. Why couldn't every year be your best year yet? It's like you could. And it's up to us to create it. Melissa's been guiding our family for years now through this process. She collects magazines all year long. They're still they're a real thing. They're called magazines. You can flip through them. You hold them in your hand. Melissa collects magazines throughout the year. We get together with our good friends and we have a New Year's Eve party, and we do a really fun dinner. We give awards out to everyone, and then everyone cuts out pictures out of magazines, create a vision board that has your word for the year on it. The way I like to think about it, instead of calling it a word, I call it a frequency, based on this quote. I don't even know who said it, but your frequency is what you frequently see. And that's how I want to think about my word. It's not just I come up with this word, it's kind of cool, and then I glance at it once in a while. It's like, no. This is the frequency I'm going to vibrate at. And what's kind of cool to me about that idea is you get to set your own frequency. A lot of times we forget that. We think the world sets my frequency, or my mood sets my frequency, or the economy, or it's like, no. You're in control of your life. You get to set the frequency. So it's like, well, what frequency, what station do you want to be vibrating at this year? Mm-hmm. What's the thing you want to frequently see? Now, there's a lot of, Melissa's already covered all this, but the way I think is really useful to come up with your word or your frequency is by reflecting on the year you just had, thinking about the year ahead, and then choosing a word or a frequency that you think, wow, this would really embody this. If I really vibrated at this frequency, I'd probably have my best year yet and accomplish a lot of my goals.
One thing I want to add, as Chris mentioned, we've talked about this a few times. If you go to familybrand.com/best, you can download exactly how we do our vision boards and our year-end award ceremonies, etc. That's not what we're going to talk about today, but during that process, I added something when we did this ourselves that I think would be really fun, that I think I will mention right here, that it was super helpful. If you haven't created your vision boards yet, I told the kids, we did it when we were in the car. We were on a little road trip up to our friend's house for the New Year, and Chris had read this in a book a while back, where you basically set a timer for, I think we did 2 minutes, and the prompt is, what do I want in 2026? And you just write down anything that comes to your mind for 2 minutes. And
and you can't judge it.
Yeah.
Crazy, outland, doesn't matter. If it comes to your mind, you just write it down.
And then you repeat it again. And I can't remember if we did it 2 or 3 times. I think in the book it says to do it 7 times. But we felt like the kids were maxing out at 2 or 3 times. But it was really interesting to, afterwards I went and kind of first saw my own paper and saw the kids' papers as well. And it was interesting, the second and third time we're a little more imaginative and a little more, I don't know, I guess I felt like they were more in flow the second and third times, what they really wanted. And it was cute to see what wanted, chickens and a garden, and I can't even remember what else. But if you're struggling right now to know, like, I don't even know, like, what do I even want this year? That was a cool exercise I'd recommend.
That was a cool exercise. And then we also choose we ask our kids as well, like in addition to helping them try to get clear on what they want for 2026, we'll ask them, hey, what do you think our family could use the most help with? What do you think our family could focus on? And we use their feedback, and Melissa and I do the same thing. And then we choose a word or a frequency for our family for the year. And then we, it's kind of fun. We're going to do it this Sunday. We land on a frequency or a word for our family for the year. And
Chris
then
and I do. Yeah.
with the help of our kids. Yeah. We land on it. Melissa and I kind of decide, take it to the kids. They can veto it or, yeah, agree. And then all of us go find a quote and a scripture that we think embodies that frequency for the year. And it's fun because every year we kind of give a prize away to whoever came up with the quote, and then whoever comes up with the scripture, and everyone votes. And we vote on the favorite quote, and then we choose that. And then for all of 26, we will, as part of our morning routine, we literally start every morning off with the scripture, then the quote, and then we go into our family values. And whatever frequency we've chosen that year becomes our rotating value for the year. So in addition to our like kind of core family values, we always have an extra one, I guess. So our frequency for the year as a family is consistent. This morning, we don't have our scripture or quote yet, but we set our family values, and then at the end we added one more, which is Mr. Consistent. Do you want to tell us the word you landed on this year, Melissa?
So the word I landed on, I don't even know how I landed on this. The word is gather. And I was telling Chris, I'm like, it's like the most boring word I have ever had in the history of my vision.
No.
Okay, but
It's all in how you unpack it.
But yeah, okay.
But I did make fun of her. I was like, live, love, laugh, gather.
Okay, but the actually funny thing is we were at our friend's house for New Year's, and I was like, my word is gather. And our friend was like, oh, like the word over there on the wall. Like she literally had a sign on the wall that said gather. And then I turn around and I look on the other wall in the kitchen, has a second sign that also says gather. And I'm like, see this word.
You're tuned in. Melissa's dialed in
But
the
it's-
frequency of gather.
I like the word, but for me it is just like that word that you hang in your kitchen. It's like gather.
I think she's unfairly judging the word.
Maybe I am. I am starting to like warm up more to it. It just felt like the word for me this year. And
So you didn't choose that, it chose you.
it
this year.
chose me this year.
Yeah.
And when I unpack it though, it does get more meaningful to me because it does embody like what I want to do this year. I want to be a gatherer of people, of things, not like a hoarder of things.
So I was gonna say, well, how many things we talking? What things are we gathering this year? Just so I can be prepared.
But for example, I want to we've been in this house for a year. I want to plant a garden. I want to be able to gather like vegetables, and I want to be able to gather. I'd love to plant some flowers too. Gather flowers. I would love to, at church, I'm in charge of like the women's activities. I want to be able to gather the women, which is what I'm going to be doing. That's cool. And gather like on social media. Like I just have this frequency of how do I gather people, and that requires me to like use my voice on social media. Like I just resonate with the word, especially when I unpack it. I'm like, oh no, that is a cool word. And the awesome thing about, I told a handful of people what my word is. Someone's already sent me like, oh, have you read this book? It's called The Art of Gathering. And I was like, thank you, Brittany.
That's awesome.
I actually realized like, oh, I started that book a couple years ago. Another friend had recommended it. Meg. Thank you, Meg. And I hadn't finished it. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to like revisit that book about the art of gathering. So I feel like there's some power to in putting the word out there and letting people know. And then they're kind of, it was fun to see like how the word is already coming back to me and serving me. And one other hack about if you have a word or frequency for the year that Chris put me onto a few weeks ago that I've been loving is whenever I'm in the shower, this is what he told me he does. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you have been like holding out on me this whole time, not telling me about this. In the steam, on the wall,
On the glass.
on the glass. Yeah. he writes his word of the year. Like every time he's in the shower. And I've been trying that lately and I've been loving it. It like brings my focus to the word every single time I'm in the shower.
Well, to that point, to get a little bit tactical, I hate to admit there have been years where I've chosen a word or a frequency that I really felt aligned with, that it really called to me, and I was like, man, this would make a difference to me. And sadly, like I leave it on frequency island, like I abandon it and forget about it because I just. And so I think one of the things we talk about a lot at the Possibility Company, if you're going to make something intentional, especially in culture, you have to have cues. There's all different kinds of cues, like visible cues, verbal cues. And so I've become a big believer of every year now with my word or my frequency, it becomes the background of my phone. So every time I pick up my phone, I see my word. Even when I open it, it's the lock screen, the home screen. I draw it every day in the glass. It's obviously on mine and Melissa's vision board. Our vision boards are very, very visible. Melissa framed them this year, which I love. She's never done that before. I think it makes them even more like substantial, and we see them every day, and both of our words are on them. So
I'll link to the frames. I'm loving these frames.
but I just would say as a tactic, like it would be unfortunate to create this really cool frequency for yourself and then kind of like out of sight, out of mind. That's awesome. Another cool thing that I encourage people to do is like words have so much meaning and power, obviously. And one of the things that has benefited me so much, and even the work we do with clients at the Possibility Co., is always taking a word and then I used to do it in Google. I would just say define, gather, and then it will give you kind of the etymology of it. Now I just go to ChatGPT and I say, tell me the etymology of this word. And a lot of times it can come to life for you in even a whole new, like deeper way. And you get even these different insights than you've had before. And so.
You want to tell us about your word?
Yes. I had a thought about, and by the way, when we say a word or a frequency, just to clarify, we've done a single word. Like this year, Melissa and I both have a single word. We've done full phrases. I've had quotes before. I've had a scripture as my frequency. So it's just like, it's something linguistically, language, like words that it's like, yeah, this is going to like, and the way I think about my frequency is like, okay, I'm going to put you out there. I'm going to talk about you a lot, and you've got to like pull me forth. So one of the other tactical ideas I'd give you that Melissa's already done, and she's seeing the benefits of it, is tell people about your word. Tell as many people as you can about your word or your frequency. One, I think it creates some really healthy accountability. Two, it's like people, without you even asking them to, just by telling them about your word or your frequency, they get enrolled into helping you accomplish it. Mm-hmm. Like people are like, oh, you got to read this book. You got to listen to this podcast. So and I love knowing what Melissa's word is. I love knowing what my kids' words are. I love knowing, now in Possibility Co. in our operating system, which is a dashboard we now have a tab called frequencies. You can go click it and see every member of our team, their individual frequencies. And I just love knowing that so I can show up for them around that.
You haven't said your word. Keep going and then I'll.
What were you going to say? No, say.
I've started referring to Chris by his word.
Oh, yeah, don't say it.
But I don't want to, I don't want to give it away.
About to reveal it. No, I had a phrase that I was like, oh, this is my word. And then again, it was through reflections that I was doing with these questions that Melissa's provided. But I was like, I'm going to change mine. And so my frequency for the year is partner. Our identity at the Possibility Company is we are growth partners. And that's one of the things that, by the way, I think is really cool as an individual, as a family, and as a business, is that you get to create your identity. Like it's just a creation. You make it up. It's like, this is who we are. So at the Possibility Co., we could easily say like, oh, we're coaches, consultants, we're a marketing agency. But it's like, that's what we do. We've decided that who we are is we're growth partners. And I started really thinking about that idea of like, what does it really mean to be a partner? And I think in order for me to have my best year yet, like there's an opportunity that if I show up like a partner, like a committed partner in every area of my life, it's like if I'm more committed in my partnership with God, I'm more committed in my partnership with Melissa, my partnership with my kids, partnering with my team, partnering with our client partners, partnering with other strategic partners. It's like, yeah, what would it look like? What would I do and who would I be if I really was a committed partner? And then Melissa was like, oh, and it's like partner, like a cowboy.
A partner. Because we told you in a different earlier episode, he's like embracing his cowboy heritage. So now I can get to call him partner.
Yeah, and I just think, look, your word or your frequency can be something that's like, oh, cool, I came up with a word or frequency. I'll glance at it once in a while and think about it. It would serve you. It would be useful. It kind of gives you a focus. You can also take it much further than that and be like, no, I'm going to like embody this. I will become this. Like it will become part of my identity. And my experience of having a word or a frequency it's powerful. And there's nothing stopping you from changing your word or your frequency at some point in time of the year, something else. I think last year, one of our kids started with a particular word or frequency and then later changed it because they thought it would serve them more.
I'm thinking about two things right now. One of which is, we've never talked about this before, that when Chris and I were struggling, I don't know, 16, 17 years ago, a coworker of his took us to like a Christian marriage retreat. And throughout the marriage retreat, they had you refer to each other as life partner. And so sometimes that's what I was thinking of. We'll refer to each other as my LP or my life partner.
That is funny. It's been kind of a recurring joke for a long time.
Yes. So
very weird marriage retreat, by the way. Awesome, but very interesting.
But yeah, we were like, what are we doing here? But it was good.
I really am your life partner.
Yes.
Partner.
We've laid out very beautifully like what it looks like to have a word and how this word is impacting us. But the reality of, having a family, having kids, teenagers is sometimes, and we're experiencing this, I can talk about this firsthand, is that there might be some resistance to choosing a word or having a frequency for some of your kids. And I feel like we should address that.
One of our,
Like, it's not always perfectly executed.
what did one of our kids say on the drive up that was resistant to this? My word for the year is distancing.
Distancing.
We're like, what? It's like, I'm going to distance myself from my family. I was like, all right, that's your frequency.
Distancing.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah, or like, I think he was joking. Yeah, he was joking. But still, it was some resistance to us doing this.
Yeah, that is one thing I think we've learned the hard way is like, Melissa and I want our kids to be as bought into it as we are. And I'm a maximizer in one of the personality assessments, which means like, oh, it's got to be better. It's got to be the best it can be. And I think I'm learning that, hey, not everyone's vision board has to look like mine. Not everyone's vision board has to be as beautiful as Melissa's. It doesn't have to be as intentional, but I would like you to put some thought into who it is you want to be this next year and get at least one picture. And sometimes we've had years where one of our kids is like literally cuts out one picture just to say they have a vision board. And that's okay.
I think one thing that it reminds me of is challenge and support. And part of me is like, well, I have two conflicting thoughts and I'll tell you where I've landed. One thought is, if they don't want to do it, like, you don't have to do it. Like, you can just not do this at all. But then the other thought is,
No, you're going to do it.
You are going to do this. And sometimes I'm like, where do I land in this? And here's where I've decided I am, it's kind of like what you said. I want all of our kids to have a vision board. And I think that, one thing we like to say is like, I want to support you more than you've ever been supported, but also challenge you to like become who you can be. Like, and I was telling one of our kids this a couple days ago. I'm like, I do not get anything, the same particular child, I do not get anything out of you creating a vision board. Like, I'm not doing this for me. Like, this is for you. So you can have some clarity around what you want this year and who you want to be and the kind of life you want to live. I was kind of trying to enroll him in the vision of why he might want to do this. And I did tell him, I'm like, okay, so you don't have to choose a word right now, but by what date do you think you can choose a word? And he was like, okay, by next Sunday. And I was like, okay.
December 31st, 2020.
Yeah. And so we're recording this episode on January 7th. So by Sunday, I was like, okay, by Sunday, what? Like, by what time? Like, he's like, by the time I go to bed.
By which Sunday?
So he is going to choose a word, but I feel like I'm letting him have his space to, I'm not like, you're going to do this and you're going to do it right now. I'm letting him have space, but also I am creating a structure that's like, no, I want to hold you to this. Like, I want to challenge you to do this because this is going to be for your benefit.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think the way you've navigated it is beautiful. Like you could have easily been like, okay, I'm just not going to challenge at all. And you could have maybe quote unquote challenged too much, but it's like, man, I think it's an and instead of an either or. I would say at the Smith family and Melissa individually, big believers in vision boards, big believers in like having a word, having a frequency. Like earlier today, I did a training for one of our clients and there was probably about 100 people on it. I wore one of my new straw cowboy hat. I got a couple cowboy hats on Friday at a roping I went to. And I was like, okay, I found a cowboy hat, a straw cowboy hat, kind of a funky style that I really like. I don't see these very often. The color of it, but also like the style of the, how the straw is woven together, I guess, if you will. And I was like, oh, don't really ever see those, but that looks really cool. So
You cut it out of a magazine.
cut it out of the magazine, put it on my vision board. I was like, one, I just want to get more cowboy hats, whether straw, felt, whatever. Go to the roping on Friday. And there's never cowboy hat vendors or booths at these roping because it's just a lot of work to bring that. The whole booth, to set up all the cowboy hats. There just happened to be one. I was like, oh, cool. In between some runs, I'll go in there and check them out. I walk in right away. First stack I walk up to is like, there's the exact design of the cowboy hats on my vision board. Now, again, some people go like, oh, dude, whatever. That's woo, it's coincidence. Some people would be like blown away by it. I've learned that it's neither. It's not coincidence. And I've learned not to be blown away by it because I'm just like, yeah, of course. There's been so many things from my vision board, Melissa's vision board. And when we were with our friends, Jeremy and Shauna and their family this past weekend, numerous examples from even their children. Like, and sometimes it's like immediate like that. It's like, I literally put this on my vision board less than a week ago and it's already here. And there's been a lot of things though, where what was cool is to hear the stories of, oh yeah, 3 years ago, I had a dog on my vision board and I've put a dog on my vision board every year for 3 years and I got one. Or it's like, I did the very first year we did this as families, more than 3 years ago, several years ago, I put a cabin on my vision board. And then we bought our cabin. It's just like, yeah. I mean, and you can hear stories like this, but it's like when you put it, if you take the time, I think, to cut it out, put it on paper, it's like, it's now out there as a thing. It's out. You've planted the seed of possibility where it could happen. And we better wrap up because our dogs are going crazy because someone's at the front door. Choose the frequency, create your vision board. You won't regret it. All right. So that is it for today's episode of the Family Brand Podcast.
But before you go, we have something fun for you.
Yeah. Like if you've ever wondered, okay, so how's our family culture actually doing? We've got an incredible quiz for that.
Good news, it's quick, it's free, and when you're done with that quiz, we'll even email you this awesome PDF full of practical ways to strengthen your family culture right away.
So all you have to do is go to familybrand.com/quiz, take the quiz, grab the PDF.
We'll see you next time.